On today's show,
we discuss Steph's latest ankle injury and look ahead to tonight's Rockets-Raptors showdown.
Lance Stevenson, Steve Francis, fans, who will take home worst of the week?
And young Nance dunks on a plum dog millionaire in the best top 10 in sports.
It's Friday, March 9th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Whether you're joining us live right now on NBA TV or watching later on YouTube, we're very, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeetson, alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
Happy Friday, everybody.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over yonder, that is the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo! TK, what's up tonight, man?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at #TheStarters. And guys, earlier today when we were recording our podcast, The Drop, we got a possum question about our Mount Rushmore of dogs, a.k.a. Mount Roughmore.
I got Snoopy.
I would agree on Snoopy and Airbud. I think they're locks.
Lassie.
Also throwing Clifford in there.
Yeah.
Pavlov's dog.
My last one is the crime dog, Fred McGriff.
Rocco. I don't know why.
Rocco.
What a
Clay's
mistake.
dog.
What a mistake. Clay Thompson's dog.
Settling on an actual dog, Mount Roughmore was rough. So we're going to twist it a little bit for today's question. Who is on the NBA Mount Roughmore? We've put a few names up on the mountain. We got the big dog, Glenn Robinson, the junkyard dog, Jerome Williams, and Charles Barkley. But we got one spot left for y'all, and that's where we need your help. So hit us up on Twitter and let us know who completes the NBA Mount Roughmore. Send us your best tweets to #TheStarters, and you'll get a tweet, you good boy.
Get a good tweet. All right, get your tweets in. We got a fun show tonight. Birthdays was the worst days, so we got worst of the week. We'll count down the top 10 crack commandments, plays, and Lee's going to kick in the door, waving his two thumbs.
Whoa.
So we got a whole lot to
Back
get
to
to
back
tonight.
to back.
But let's play a little true or false. TK, my man, take it away.
Just like my old man Stephen Kirby, Stephen Curry is having ankle problems. Because less than a week after rolling his right ankle against the Hawks, Curry rolled that same right ankle again last night against the Spurs. That's now 4 right ankle sprains since December for Steph, and he's already been ruled out for the Dubs' next 2 games. So guys, true or false, Curry's ankle is cause for concern?
I think it is. It
Really?
keeps happening. As Trey said, though, why wouldn't it happen in the postseason? Because right now, these aren't difficult injuries to deal with. He can just take a couple games off and he should be back. But as Trey said, 4 ankle injuries on that same ankle in 95 days. I just look back to that 2016 postseason when Steph wasn't himself. It wasn't an ankle injury at the time. It was an MCL. But he came back. He was dealing with injuries. I'm just a little worried that in the 2018 playoffs, we're going to see a little bit of that, just lingering injuries.
Yeah, I agree that it is a concern because it's an injury that's reoccurring.
Yeah.
It's not a concern for me, though, about the Warriors as far as how they get to the playoffs from here. They've got plenty of guys. They've plenty very deep. They've got guys who can fill in. Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green can run the offense if need be. So for me, I think the Warriors looked at what happened a couple of years ago when they went 73-9 and realized that didn't count for anything in the end. They need to be healthy come playoff time. So I think with Steph, they're just going to take their time, make sure he's 100% healthy, and hope that when the playoffs come around, he gets a few games under his belt just before the playoffs start.
That's why I go false. If this was April 9th, then maybe. But this is still March 9th. There's a lot of time here, unfortunately, till we get to the playoffs. And look, they did pretty good when he was out in December. They tightened up the defense. Kevin Durant just took over offensively, which he did against the Spurs last night in the 4th. And they ripped off 7 straight games, 7 straight wins. So they'll be fine. I mean, when you got Durant, going 37-11, 4 block shots, scoring 15 in the final 19 in that game against the Spurs. And that was them missing as well Andre Iguodala and David West and Jordan Bell, and then Curry obviously barely played. I think they'll be fine. Do you think the Warriors can get to the final? Let's say Steph Curry, for whatever reason, couldn't even play for the rest of the year. Do you think the Warriors could still get to the finals?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. I know it's crazy to say.
Yeah.
I mean, a 2-time MVP, take him out. But this is not like the Spurs where you take Kawhi Leonard out and they struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
They got enough talent.
But the basketball is far prettier when Steph is out there
Sure.
because they do resort a little bit more to iso ball with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And I know that they love the engine that happens with Steph Curry out there. I'm just worried 4 injuries to that same ankle in 95 days. I'm just worried about it lingering. Not worried about the next few weeks because these are the Warriors. There's 3 other All-Stars. You can get out there and get W's. And do they care about the 1 seed?
No.
No,
Not at all.
They don't.
So he's not going to play the next 2 games we already know,
Yeah.
and he may sit even more. They may be extremely
Right.
cautious
Yeah.
with him.
And the 4 injuries, although it's 4 injuries, 95 days, it sounds gruesome. They haven't been that extreme.
Yeah.
He's missed
Tweaked ankles.
now 15 in total. It's not 15 games in total, I should say. It's not a lot.
Hopefully he bounces back. Trey, next one.
Forget the 50 wins in a season streak. After last night's loss to the Warriors, the San Antonio Spurs are just 2 games up on the 9th seed in the Western Conference with just 17 games remaining. San Antonio has missed the postseason just 4 times since joining the NBA in 1976, but people are getting worried. True or false? The Spurs will miss the playoffs.
No, not the
The Spurs!
False. It's
I-
false. They've still got 10 home games left. A couple of those
Against really, really good teams.
Orlando,
Okay, yeah.
Minnesota, and Sacramento. That's 3 of them right there. So that's
Yeah.
3 wins. You're also banking on other teams like the Nuggets and the Clippers and the Jazz fighting over that
I get
last
that.
spot. And they've got to play each other as well. And the Wolves are also struggling. This is Greg Popovich. This is where coaching becomes a big part of it because they've had injuries as well. Pop knows just how to steer that ship home. They're probably going to finish 7th, maybe even 8th, but they're going to make
To
the
me,
playoffs.
that's as good as missing the playoffs. I mean, you got to be top 6 to have any chance here. You're going to play the Warriors or the Rockets in the
but that
first
doesn't-
round. They're gonna get bounced.
But-
So if they want to go deep in the playoffs, even if Kawhi comes back.
Listen,
they gotta get
no
to
one
6th
wants
or
to play
above,
the
and they
Spurs in the
could.
first round of the playoffs anyway. That's
No
the
one wants
thing.
to, but they wouldn't beat them.
Yeah. What if Kawhi comes back?
People are hanging on like this, like he's gonna come back like superstar Kawhi. He came back already.
Yeah.
And didn't play a ton of minutes. Wasn't obviously playing in back-to-back situations, and struggled a bit, which is obvious because he was out a long time. He looked rusty. I wouldn't be convinced, even if you plug him in right now, that they're a lock to make it. We said this earlier in the week when we were saying, can the Spurs win 50 games? I said, forget 50 games. I mean, making the playoffs will be a bit of a battle here, and they got the toughest schedule remaining. The toughest schedule remaining.
They do, but it is a home-heavy sched, and they do really well at home. They're one of the better NBA teams at home. Home for 10, on the road for 7. It's just so far-fetched to see that these guys wouldn't make the postseason. Last time they didn't make the postseason, Stephen Kirby's ankles were extremely healthy.
Right.
And they are playing with not a Kawhi Leonard, but LaMarcus Aldridge, who looks like a number one guy right now. I mean, he rocked the Warriors yesterday. He had a really, really good game. I think they fight to get there. I don't think
their
they
defense has slipped drastically. I mean, they were at the start of the season that was winning them a lot of games. Their defense slipped since February 1st. And then they haven't been able to score consistently offensively all season long. And you keep seeing it late in games. The Spurs are the Spurs, so they're always in the game. But over their last 6 losses, and last night was a perfect example, they give up leads.
Yeah.
They don't, Aldridge is their go-to guy. I get that, but you throw a double at him, and you're making someone else try.
But wouldn't you be more worried about a team like the Timberwolves who've never been in this position since Butler's gone down? They started off okay, but they've lost a couple since then. And they look to me more like they're slipping and sliding. Whereas the Spurs, like I say, Popovich knows how to just squeak out a couple of wins. I mean, Bryn Forbes hits that shot last night. They're going to overtime, and they're still in that game.
So you're banking on that the Spurs, they built a big enough sort of a little bit of a lead here,
Yeah.
cushion earlier in the season that one of those other 2 teams will falter.
For sure. I
be it
mean,
the
the
Wolves,
Nuggets,
the Clippers, whoever.
Nuggets have had some bad losses recently. The Wolves, as I said, are slipping. The Thunder are sort of hovering around, but I
Yeah.
think they'll be okay. So, again, the Clippers, it's like 4 of those teams almost have to outplay the Spurs from here. And Spurs' experience is just going to get them over the line.
Look at those guys who they have out there. It's a heck of an accomplishment that they're in this spot right now.
Sure.
They didn't have their best player for a lot of the season. Aldridge has been banged up, and then after that, it's a heck of a fall off, and they have just been incredible to get to this point.
And Kawhi's coming back soon, but he's not even playing 5-on-5 yet. And he's playing 3-on-3. He's worked his way up to that.
Yeah,
so
I
what does
think-
soon mean? I mean, they
I
better
don't
hope it's
know.
very soon.
I don't know what soon means.
Final
Soon
one
or
here,
very
Trey.
soon.
Yeah. Final one, Trey.
We got ourselves a game up
Yeah.
north tonight as the first place Houston Rockets travel to Toronto to face the first place Raptors on Drake night, no less. And while I am curious to see which team Drizzy roots for since he once rapped H-Town my second home like I'm James Harden, true or false, Rockets Raptors is a finals preview. It's hard to say.
Well,
Raptors.
false. Let's relax here.
No, we got to relax.
Let's relax. Rockets, Raptors potentially, I guess, could happen, but you wouldn't bet on it. On
Warriors-
either of those teams, maybe even
The
getting there.
Warriors are still the favourite, obviously, in the West. I wouldn't mind throwing some money on the Raptors right now. I think they're playing incredible. I think they've earned this number 1 spot. They're playing for home court advantage. Cavs, obviously LeBron's there, but they have still some question marks. And the Celtics are the same. The Celtics have been good. They've been a little bit sloppy. Then they've been good again.
Yep.
I think the Raptors have to feel that this is certainly the best chance this franchise has ever had to make.
Is this like a statement game
100%.
for them tonight, you think, for the Raptors? I mean, Rockets coming in, winning 17 straight. Raps have the best home court in the league. They've won 6 straight themselves.
I
There's going to
think-
be a lot of eyeballs on this game, obviously being the 2 number 1 seeds.
Yeah, people will be digging into League Pass for this
Yeah.
one. I don't think it's really a statement game. Game 1 against LeBron James is the statement game.
Okay.
They got to play a lot better than they played against the Pistons on Wednesday night. You know, they barely squeaked one out against Detroit. They got to be better. They got to be sharper to beat the
They
Rockets.
were very good against the Rockets the first time they played, didn't
There
they?
was no
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
There was no Chris Paul, but still,
Yep.
that to me, I think, is going to sit in the back of the minds of the Rockets tonight to say, listen, they've beaten us already once. Let's send a message to them tonight.
One more thing I think for the Raps to really have a chance even tonight is they got to get back to hitting the 3-point shot with a little more consistency. They've won 6 games in a row, as I said, but they're shooting 33.5% from 3. A lot of guys are struggling. I mean, Lowry's been fine and CJ Miles have been fine. Everybody else has struggled, be it Ibaka. DeMar's gone ice cold from there. Van Fleet with the second unit. So, I mean, I think it needs to happen in the playoffs as well for the Raps to go very, very deep, maybe get to the finals. They got to get that back up a little bit higher, which it has been for, across the season, for the season, but recently they've just gone ice cold.
It's true. And maybe they circled this one on their calendar.
Yeah.
They may be ready for Drake night for Friday night in the ACC. And I want to play the homer card, but they're not the favorites to get there quite yet. But yes, this is their best chance. This is the time to get through LeBron. Oh, boy.
Well, let's wrap this show up so we can start watching Rockets Raptors. We got to take a break, though. There is more to come. Hasn't started yet, don't worry. When we come back, we hand out the worst of the weeks like they're Cable Fax Awards. Nominees left and right, and then eventually a winner, like us.
Straight cable facts right there.
Welcome back to The Starters. We cover a heck of a league, but sometimes guys make mistakes. They're only human. It's time for Worst of the Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
Second runner-up this week is Lance Stevenson for tripping John Henson this week. Now, there was no foul called on the play, but after review by the league office, after he stuck his leg out here, he was given a flagrant 1 foul. Now, what's probably even more foul is Lance's explanation after. He said, I don't think it was intentional. If you look at it, it looks intentional, just running back, but I don't regret it because I ain't do it on purpose. Come on.
That's a schoolyard play, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, it's like, yeah, you
Slow
just
the guy down.
stick a finger at a foot
You're
out
okay
there.
with that? You're okay with the little
No,
trip?
I'm not okay with it.
Okay.
Because he could have hurt himself.
Could have hurt himself. Yeah, that's the problem for sure.
You're not
Not the
allowed.
other guy.
That's not cool. He said he's going to stop the text now because they're watching him, but yeah, they're watching you trip, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to happen. First runner-up is Steve Francis. Now, he wrote a very interesting piece on the Players Tribune, but I didn't like one part of it. To quote Steve Francis, I damn near cried when I got taken by the Grizzlies at number 2. I was not about to go up to freezing ace Canada, so far away from my family, when they were about to move the franchise anyway. I'm sorry, but actually, I'm really not even sorry. Everybody sees the business of basketball now. That team was gone. The only thing I'm sorry about is that I went up there and gave probably the rudest press conference in NBA history before they traded me. Come on, man. Canada? Me? Up there? It just wouldn't have worked.
Oh, boy.
A few problems.
All right.
Revisionist history here to
Okay.
say that he knew that Vancouver was leaving. It left 2 years later. It's easy to say that right now. Also, Vancouver's not that cold. It's in Canada, but it's not colder than Baltimore, where Steve Francis is from. Not colder
Like
than New
balmy.
York, where you play. It's a nice, mild climate. It's all right. And also, look at Vince Carter in Toronto. A huge star, a god in Canada.
Yep.
Was all-star vote leader 4 and 5 years. Steve Francis maybe could have been a bigger star. if
Could have
he led a
saved the franchise.
Yeah.
He could have. David Stern's biggest regret
Yeah, you're right.
that Vancouver left. They should have a team there. Seattle should have a team there, where they also have a mild climate. Right?
You're right.
I agree.
It's nice there.
Just
It's
look
very
at,
Shout out
nice
to
there.
mild climates.
shout out to mild climates, not worst of the week. Mild climates are not worst of the week. The worst of the week winner this week, fans who cheer for their teams to lose. I don't care about this tanking thing. You can't cheer for your team to lose. You think it's smart because you get more ping pong balls. You don't know where the balls are going to ping or they're going to pong. More often, the worst team does not get that number 1 pick. Although the last 3 years it has happened. The team with the worst record got the number 1 pick, but that's an anomaly. It hasn't happened very much. Only 21% since the weighted lottery has happened. You just
So what do you want them to do? What do you
Just
want
cheer
them to
for
do?
your team. What's
and-
wrong with it? Who knows where? You don't
okay.
know you're going to get a good pick.
No, you
and
don't.
The
You don't,
lottery's
but
Sounds
you're
like
helping
quite
your-
the trend, though. I mean, the last 3 years, the worst record's
Yeah.
getting the #1 pick. I'm a Bulls fan. I've been rooting for them to lose all year long. It was a bummer when they were winning games. It's fun to root for your team to be bad. Not actually, but at least it gives you something when your team's bad.
Yeah. Do you believe in any sort of like basketball gods that shine brightly upon teams that try, sort of as you hit the home stretch here, that are trying to get these W's, even though it hurts their odds, their chances, but maybe
Well,
they
the Sixers
pull it
have
out?
got Fultz and Simmons and Embiid, so no, I think the gods are probably like, take away, boys.
Take away, boys!
I mean, we talked about it on the Drop podcast. You may want to you want to cheer on your bad team and then hope they sort of just blow it right at the end. So you can cheer them on for 46
Yeah.
minutes and then they sort of give it away at the end.
Hope they botch it.
I will say one thing, Fultz obviously wasn't, the Sixers didn't have that pick, they had to trade for
They have
it.
to trade up for it.
Way
yeah.
to fact check
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah, Joel Embiid also not a #1
No,
pick.
no, but a high pick.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
#3, yeah.
Yeah, they were tanking, and they've done
Worked
fairly
out
well.
for them, yeah.
But you don't like
Not
it.
Nerlens Noel so much, but
You don't like it.
because you never know.
When the Raptors were
More
bad,
often
you
than
were
not.
always cheering.
Yeah,
Shot.
It's true. He did have season tickets.
I was
for a
looking
long
for free
time.
pizza. 100 points, free pizza.
All right. That should be worse than the week. Those people are cheering for pizza, man.
I've never cheered for pizza.
They were cheering for yogurt in Minnesota last night. Yogurt! Come on, pizza's good. Yogurt's fine, but it's not pizza.
You get free yogurt?
When we come back, top 10. Best in the universe. What?
The Starters is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, official partner of the NBA.
Welcome back to the Starters. It's Friday, which means it's time for the best top 10 in sports. Let's count them down at number 10. Great place to start. Makes sense. Watch Marcus Smart coming out of nowhere. Ooh, wicked smart. The
Nice.
hops.
A lot of power on this.
You
Yeah.
don't see that from Marcus. Kyrie, whoa! Kyrie couldn't believe it.
Here's a bigger surprise. Joe Harris blocking Draymond Green.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta get back, Joe.
Yeah, the roles reversed here, right?
Yeah.
It's like a very Draymond-like block.
Joe Harris is a killer. Some call him Joe Carroll. For all those following fans out there,
At number 8, we got 3 oops, all right? 3 oops. We start with Kemba to Dwight with the thrunk. Flashes of Superman there.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a thrunk. Not a dunk. Throwing in a dunk. That's a thrunk. JJ. To another Dwight. Dwight Powell. He gets up here.
Oh, yeah. He's had a few nice ones.
Oh, beautiful.
That's all Dwight with me.
And one more. TJ to Ben Simmons. That's like the flare on this one. The left is kicking the legs there.
Skywalking.
Yeah, exactly.
at number 7, Josh Hustis gets Alex Len. In tight. He just hangs up there. This is the angle.
Hustis Mans is this cutting across the lane.
At number 6. Karl Anthony Towns. Some people call him Cat. Throws it down on Bainsley. Just go ahead.
Well, we haven't had one for a while, I'll say that, but that was cat.
Wow. It was worth it.
See, he's complaining. He's saying, give me some more Catman dudes.
I'll save it right here. Marquise Chris.
Oh.
John Collins. This is awesome. John Collins looking to throw it down.
Oh,
He like slap blocks it.
Man.
Great jerseys, great block.
Yes. Chris, he got that block. This one didn't go so well. Justice Winslow, late in the game. Chris comes over to help. Justice punches it home and then gives a great look.
That was stanky. At number 3, JaVale McGee on the drop from Klay Thompson on Davis Bertans.
It sort of doesn't look like JaVale dunks here. He's like holding onto the rim while he's on the
Go
ground.
gadget arm.
Yeah.
Nice pass too by Clay.
Yep. At number 2, Larry Nance Jr. just elevates
Only numbers. Ooh.
on a plum dog. Oh, man.
The Sean Kemp finger gun.
Yeah, that's right. Just bounced off him, hung in the air, and slammed it home.
At number 1, DeMar DeRozan. Time ticking down 1, and he dunks on the Pistons.
And one!
Good.
Over everybody.
Wow, this was awesome.
Right down the lane.
Weird defense there
Yeah.
from the Pistons.
Kyle Lowry took out 2 guys on it, and then he celebrates like a man.
One more break, but when we come back, Lily throws 2 thumbs on a very solid play. Don't go anywhere. Tonight on NBA TV, it's week 21 if you're keeping track.
Okay.
Wizards, Pelicans, Cavs, Clippers. Nice looking doubleheader. All right, we asked you, who goes on NBA Mount Rushmore? We already got Big Dog and JYD and Charles Barkley. Trey, complete that Mount Rushmore. What do you got?
Yeah, we got some good ones. Like, for instance, Vernon Mutswell, Alfred Sharr-Payton, Corgi Jang, great one, Thomas Shitsuransky,
Easy.
and Coach Steve Grrr. Well played, everyone.
Good stuff. Tonight's pick and play. Rockets, Raptors, what a game.
Homers!
Battle of the #1 seeds in the West and the East. Yes, Tass and I will play the Homer card quite perfectly. We'll take the Raps. Trey and Lee say the Rockets extend the winning streak to 18 games. Good luck, y'all. Should be a good one. Lee, VSP, who gets it?
The Miami Heat, and we have the rare pharmaceutical boomerang. What? Johnson & Johnson. Back to Johnson. Or a swish bomb. That's what I call a very solid play.
Awesome.
Staying with that game, we had a wedgie.
Yeah, we did. They're coming. They're coming.
We're 28 on the season, and the defensive wedgies have been happening a great deal. Justice Winslow, Dwayne Wade tag teaming Robert Covington there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a low one again.
In there.
Low hanger for number 28.
28. All right. Drop podcast. It's up. It's ready for you to listen to. It's a blast. Great story from Lee on his weirdest injury.
It happened just 2 days ago when I was getting into the banana costume and I strained my back. Yeah, it's still a little sore. It's okay, but for walking around with that banana costume on, trying to eat bananas while I had a bit of a sore back, I was trying to stretch it out. It wasn't good. I've never injured myself getting dressed before.
All right. We got one fan sign, Lee.
Eric and his bride Melissa at their first NBA game, and they took a fan sign, just married. A couple of great puns on there. Very good job, guys. Well done.
Awesome. That's it for us. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, our pick and payoffs, they're no joke. They're tough.
Brace the night, people.